Hey, family tech man, how's your spirit? Talk to me. Tell me something good. Uh, got a good one tonight. We doing adversities, and we're gonna touch why adversities happen, why they good, why they uh are not so good, and how you have to deal with them. Because like I tell you, this platform is called Through Adversity Comes Change. The book is Through Adversity Come Change on Amazon. You also have Through Adversity Come Change 2 on Kindle, where you can review that. But the reason why I want to touch on adversities today because we did choices and different aspects of tech, and the root of the platform, the program is adversities. So I want to touch on adversities today. Adversities reveals before hardship. No, let me go back. What adversities does. Adversity reveals before hardship, you have opinions about who you are. During relationships, you learn who you actually are. Adversity strips away pretense, ego, and false confidence. It does not create new traits. It exposes existing ones. It shows you your weaknesses, but more importantly, it uncovers hidden reserves of courage, creativity, and endurance you never knew existed. Adversity acts as a mirror and a forge first. It shows you the cracks, then it gives you the heat to weld them shut. Adversities are your lessons to get you to your blessings. And this is the thing I say, everybody has adversities. Your adversities are different from mine. Mine are different from yours, but we all have adversities. And our adversities are kind of partner with our purpose. And like I tell you, if you don't think you have a purpose, you're one out of billions or millions of sperm cells that made it. So if God lets you beat all of them, that means He has a reason for you to be here. You have a purpose. Now it's about you figuring out your purpose and what your adversities do. Your adversities shape and mold you so you can uh, mold yourself into the purpose of what the adversities are shaping you into. You know, the only way we learn and grow is when we go through adversities. It's no other way to say that. If you don't go through adversities, nothing will change in life. You will never grow. You'll never learn nothing. You will never amount to anything because you have to go through it to get to it. Now, what adversity builds? Adversities build resilience, strength, the ability to absorb impact and spring back. It builds clarity because when everything is stripped away, you suddenly know what truly matters. And that's like going through what I had to go through in my life. Once you strip down to nothing and then you come home and realize you have nothing. And the things that you did were kind of in vain because it wasn't appreciated. So you have to be able to understand that and know that that's just how life is, and people are going to be people no matter what. And when you get to understand, you don't get bitter, you don't get mad, you just understand that that's where they're at, and you have to always be better. You suddenly know what truly matters. It builds humility. Adversity is really, it humbles you, you know because like I always tell you guys, happiness doesn't come, I mean, not happiness. Happiness comes with good things, but wisdom comes with adversity if you're a thinker. You have to be a thinker. And I always stress to people, even when I ask you to embrace this program, you have to be 100% with yourself. It's about you and only you. And if you can't be real with yourself, you're not going to make it through this. And as you're going through whatever you're going through, if you're healing, it will humble you. But if you're arrogant, you will still be the same. Failure teaches what success never can. See what I'm saying? It builds grit, or like my old head Akbar Praise used to say, intestinal fortitude. And he's so right. The quiet determinations to continue when motivation has died. And most importantly, it builds self trust, because when you go through adversities and you're alone, it makes you rely on you, because people may have let you down. But when you rely on you, you know it's going to get done. It's just like me coming on here every night. Some nights I don't feel like it. I don't feel like being, but I know how important it is to get this message to y'all. You see what I'm saying? It's not about me. And see, if I make it about me, some days I'm not going to do it. But it's not about me. It's about helping someone else. And in time, things will get better. It has to be people who want to heal. It has to be people who want to know the lies from the truth. People who want to do the right thing. People who are not afraid to go through their adversities and make the changes they need to make in their lives. Well, let me finish. Every time you survive something that scared you, you send a message to your own mind. I can handle hard things. That belief is the foundation of every future victory. See, once you go through it, you know that you can deal with it. It's like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. When I did my first bid, um, I didn't know I could run 5 miles, 5K, 10 miles, half a marathon, and I just did it. And I didn't know I was good at lifting weights and pull-ups and push-ups, but as I went through my bid, I learned the things that I could do and the things that I couldn't do. And that's a part of going through your adversities and making the changes in your life. See, because if you know that you can't do certain things, you supposed to be like, okay, I know my boundaries. A lot of people don't get it. What adversity creates? Adversity creates depth. People who have never suffered remain shallow. Have you ever run into people like that? They've never gone through nothing. They really don't understand life. You have to go through life to understand life. It's not like you just gonna get it just like that. No, it don't work like that. It's through adversity comes change. Interesting in good times, but useless in storms. That's what they're saying about people who've never gone through that. People who have never suffered remain shallow. Interesting in good times, but useless in storms. Adversity creates empathy. Empathy is I feel what you feel. It's not sympathy. You don't sympathize, you empathize. You can put yourself in the position of that person and understand what they're going through, and you empathize with them. That's when your heart is pure. You cannot genuinely feel another's pain until you have known your own. This is why you have to go through adversities to make changes. This is why I tell you guys, going through this process of this program, this platform, it will get you to where you need to be, where you can heal, where you can go through your adversities and be able to help others in the process because you learn how to navigate adversities. This is what we have to do. We have to learn how to navigate adversities. A lot of times we don't know how to navigate adversities. And this is where we fall short in life, and this is where we make the mistakes. And sometimes the mistakes are detrimental to our lives. It creates wisdom, which is not intelligence, but experience digested. It creates appreciation. Light means nothing without darkness, and ease means nothing without struggle. Finally, adversity creates character. Ease produces personality. Hardships produces character. One is surface, the other is substance. And you're going to want to always have substance over surface. You know, it's it's something that you have to go through to really understand. You know, and I hope uh one day that I have millions and millions of followers who understand and who want to heal and who go through the process of healing, because a lot of times people don't may not even understand what I'm saying because they haven't really gone through too much in their lives. But if you've gone through as much as I've gone through in my life, you would understand where I'm coming from. And all I want to do is help people to heal. I've done a lot of wrong in my life, and I feel that this is my giving back, you know. Why you have to go through your adversities. You cannot outsmart or bypass adversity because growth requires resistance. It's like a muscle. Only way you can build a muscle is through resistance. You gotta work it. That's just like adversities. It's like life. A muscle that faces no weight remains weak. A tree that faces no wind develops no deep roots. You have to go through adversity because the qualities you want, strength, patience, courage, wisdom, are not given. They're earned. You got to earn those things. And they don't come overnight. It takes years and years and years of you going through life's lessons to gain them. And one thing about it, you never stop learning until you die because there's going to always be something that you can learn from. It's going to always be people that you can learn from. Just watching people go through things is lessons. You know what to do, what not to do. Sometimes other people's adversities teach you how to stay on the straight and narrow if you're paying attention. And that's why I always tell you guys you got to pay attention to life. And they are only earned in the arena of struggle. Like I tell you, everything happens through struggle. That's your adversities. To want the reward without the trial is to want the harvest without the season. The path through is the only path. Let me say that again. The path through is the only path. Like I say all the time, we would love to live our lives backwards, but we must live it forward to get the lesson and the blessing. You know, um, I know me. If God was just to give me everything one shot when I was young, I would probably kill myself. Now I would know what to do with it because I have no vices. Um, but when I was young, oh no, I probably wouldn't even be here to give you a message. So this is why we must live life forward, so we can learn the lessons and the blessings on the road of change, in the road of adversity. the chemistry of change. When you face adversities, your brain and body literally change. Neuroplastic neuroplasticity, the rewiring of neural pathways, accelerates under stress. It's like when you're going through stuff, your mind has to rewire, has to, fight or flight, whatever. If you know certain arts of defending yourself, that kicks in. So you're trying to figure out, you know, and that's just what happens when you're in stress or fight or flight mode. Cortisols and adrenaline sharpen your focus. Dopamines, after a struggle, rewards you not for comfort, but for overcoming. This is biological proof. Biological proof. You are designed to grow through difficulty. Like I said, it's through adversity come change. And it's saying that God built us to go through these adversities. You just have to be able to face them. And that's what a lot of people don't want to face. They want life easy. They want everything on a platter, you know, and that's not how life is. You just have to understand that, you know, it's just how it is. Uh, this biological proof you are designed to grow through difficulty. What feels like breaking is often your system of upgrading. The discomfort is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are doing something hard. And that is exactly where change lives. Like I always tell you guys, if you don't go through it, you can't get to it. Anything the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve if you put your mind to it and you, like I said, pay attention. Life is not easy, but one thing for sure, two things for certain, it's fair. You just have to put the work in, and then most people don't want to put that work in. They want everything for free. They want to take and that's the day and age it is today. Nobody wants to earn nothing. They want free. They want to take, but they don't understand that there's a God in everything you do in life. There's consequences. There's karma. So you have to always try to live right and do the right thing in your life, no matter what. What's up, Pippin? Because we're gonna go through it. We're gonna go through all kinds of adversities, all kinds of changes. But these things are what shape and mold us to make us better people for tomorrow. You just got to be strong enough to endure. And see, that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't endure through the hardship. They don't embrace the pain. They don't embrace the struggle. You know, Everything is like, oh, why me? Why no? Why not you? Because the people God love is the ones that He put through the most. That's the ones He put through the most. Because He know you can deal with it, and He's strengthening you for what He has for you in the future. Because you have to be ready for it. You're not going to just get it like that. It's just like me having peace after all I've been through. I had to earn that. I had to reinvent myself. I had to change my mindset. And the only way to do that is through growth, going through my adversities, making the changes I had to make, understanding that people are going to be people, forgiving people and forgiving me most importantly, because there's no answers. There's no answers to life. You just have to go through it. And each person goes through it differently. And these are the things that you have to understand. Now, check this out. Dig this what happens when you go through the process. First, denial, then anger, then the long, dark night of doubt. But then something shifts. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? And see, this is when change is taking place, when you stop becoming the victim and understand that God makes no mistakes. And whatever He's putting you through is for a reason. He's preparing you for what He has for you in the future. It's like a lot of opportunities that I had when I was young. Whereas I would have been a multi-millionaire, maybe a billionaire. But I would have been in some of that Epstein and Diddy stuff, of course. I was dealing with people on a higher level, and they kind of, you know, different, and God didn't want that for me, so he didn't let me go to that level in my life. And that's a blessing, like certain things in life, right? You're going to do, and certain things in life you're not going to do. Certain things in life you're going to have to go through, and certain things in life you're not going to go through. That's just how life is. God already has a plan. That's why he gives you adversities. Your adversities shape and mold you to who he wants you to be. But you have to pay attention and you have to be able to follow what he's trying to show you. But then something shifts. You start asking, why me? And stop asking why me and start asking what now? Your mind moves from victim to student. You begin to look for the lesson instead of cursing the laws. Your fear shrinks because you have walked through it and found yourself still standing. You discover that the worst case scenario is survival. Now, how many times you've gone through, or anybody is going through stuff that you ain't think you was gonna make it through, but you made it through. Perfect example again. When I did my first bid, 17 years, 7 months, I thought that was gonna be forever. I was in my early 20s. That passed, came home, did another bid, came home, did another bid. So, man, life goes. You just have to face those fears and go through them. And a lot of times, if we just pay attention, life would be a whole lot better. You discover that the worst case scenario is survival and that knowledge changes everything. You will never be ruled by fear again because fear has lost its mystery. And like I tell you, once you go through these things and you face your fears, you write down your adversity, your fears, your shortcomings, everything that you're going through. And you say one day, like, yo, I want to break through these things. This is what this program is about: the five principles, three articles, one healer, helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate love. A lot of people don't know what love is, they don't know how to get to love. And this process teaches you, it shows you, but you have to embrace it. And until you embrace it, you're going to be stuck. And I'm going to be here. And inshallah, I'm going to give it to you every day until y'all get it. The benefits you cannot get any other way. Check this out. Adversity gives you perspective. Let me say that again. Adversity gives you perspective. It makes you think about life. Because when you're going through stuff and you are any kind of a thinker, you're going to contemplate a lot of things, when you're going through stuff. And a smart person is going to decipher the things that are good for him and let go of the bad and do what they have to do to keep moving on. That thing you were anxious about last year, you cannot even remember it. Adversities give you presence. When life is hard, you stop living in the past or future. You live right now because right now is all you can handle. Adversity gives you authenticity. Let me say that again. Adversity gives you authenticity. Only you can make that for yourself. Only you can be authentic to you. You stop pretending to please others. You realize that approval is cheap and integrity is priceless. Some of the people that you love the most are going to be the people who turn their back on you, especially when you're grinding, especially when you're trying to come up. And then when you come up, it's going to be a whole different story. But you have to be able to decipher who's who. It gives you gratitude, not the shallow kind, but the deep knowing that every small thing, every small good thing is a gift. Like I said, God makes no mistakes, and whatever He puts you through, He's going to get you through. He just wants you to learn something. And like I say, second principle, wherever you at in life, He put you there because He's driving the car, and you must take the responsibility that it's something that you might have done that got you where you at. And see, these are things that I tell you that you have to be able to face. Until you're able to face these things, you're not gonna be real with yourself or with anyone else. You know, the greatest thing is when you have to never lie to nobody else. And you know, when you lie to somebody else, that means you fear something or you fear the person. When you don't fear nothing, you keep it 100% real. And if a person don't like what you say, that so be it. That's on them. It's not you. Adversity as the teacher, comfort cannot be. Comfort teaches you to want more. Adversity teaches you to need less. Let me say that again. Comfort teaches you to want more. Adversity teaches you to need less. Perfect example. Like I said, I used to spend $1,000 a day on scratch tickets. I live on for $1,000 a month now. It's all about making the positive changes in your life to get you to where you need to be, not nobody else. See, when you living for somebody else, you ain't gonna never get it. When you living for you, they have to get you. You know what I'm saying? Comfort teaches you to avoid pain. Adversity teaches you that pain passes. If you ever notice, like you're going through something or a person going through something, you don't think it's ever going to pass. But it's a 2 week cycle. 2 week cycle. Even when I was in prison, it could be a stabbing, it could be a fight, whatever. In 2 weeks, something else is going to change, and it's going to be a whole new cycle. A whole new. Look at what's going on in the world now. Every other day, it's a whole new news cycle. People don't retain a lot, especially when it's something negative. Comfort makes you fragile. A single setback breaks you. Adversity makes you anti fragile, the kind of person who gets stronger when life gets harder. You cannot learn these lessons in a classroom or a vacation. You learn them on your knees. And once learned, they can never be taken from you. That is the permanent wealth adversity leaves behind. See, you feel that what adversity leaves behind once you get it, can never take it away from you. The wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding I have about life after going through all I've been through, that can never be taken from me. And this is why I'm able to come on here, reinvent myself, change my mindset, and give you all another version of me. And there's even more versions. But this is what it's about, making the changes to do the right thing in your life so you can make a impact on someone else's life. That's what it's about. We've been taught to hate because we follow these people that worship the devil. We have to start living like God wants us to live. Like I tell you, this is not a religious platform. This is a simple platform for difficult people. We just got to learn how to get it. Identity shift for victim from victim to victor. The single greatest benefit of adversity is the shift of self concept. Before hardship, you see yourself as someone things happen to. After hardship, you see yourself as someone who happens to things. You realize you are not the leaf in the wind, you are the tree. This identity shift changes every decision, every fear, every goal. You stop avoiding challenges and start seeking them because you now know on the other side of every difficulty is a stronger version of you. That realization is the master key to all your growth. And it's funny that it says that, right? Because like the situation that happened to me. And I know it sounds crazy, but I knew they were coming with guns, but I was so hyped up on my martial arts skills that I wanted to see if I could really do it. I trained for 7 years to do, and it worked. But that was ego. And what is ego? Ego is easing God. I could have got killed. I got shot 9 times. So these are life's lessons. You know, things that you know to put yourself in, things you know not to put yourself into. How adversity sharpens decision making. When life is easy, decisions feel inconsequential. When life is hard, every choice matters. Adversity forces you to prioritize, to cut what is unnecessary, to focus on what is actually moves the needle. You learn to see through distraction. You develop a kind of mental radar that spots trouble before it arrives. You stop procrastinating because the cost of delay is too high. Leaders are not made in calm seas. They are forged in storms. Adversity gives you the reps you need to become decisive, clear, and unshakable. And see, these are the benefits of going through your adversities and making the changes you need to make in your life. Everything has a purpose, a benefit, a plus, a minus. You just have to seek out what's best for you. So I tell you how to pay attention, and use your head for more than a hat rack. And when you're able to do that, man, life gets better for you. The social benefit deepen relationship. Adversity is the filter that reveals real friends. Let me say that. Let me really say that again. Adversity is the filter that reveals real friends. This is when you know you have a real friend. When times are hard. This is one of the reasons why I told God to take the people out of my life who don't deserve to be there. Because all the people that I thought would be there wasn't. And that's what it is. All right, I got you. Adversity is the filter that reveals real friends. Fair weather companions vanish. They're like leaves, they just blow in the wind. Shared hardship creates bonds that good times never can. When you go through something with a person that's real deep, that's something that can't be broken. That's a bond that can't be broken. And the ones who stay, those are your people. Shared hardships creates bonds that good times never can. Think of soldiers, survivors, teammates who struggle together. That bond is unbreakable because it built on mutual testimony. We saw the fire, we walked through it together. We are still here. Adversity does not just build you as an individual, it builds your tribe. It shows you who belongs in your life and who doesn't. And that's a true story. Adversity will show you who belongs in your life and who doesn't. See, because one thing about life, when you on top of the world, you'll never find out who your real friends are. It's only when you go down and you need others. This is when you find out who's really your friend or who's really in your corner, who is using you and who is abusing you, and who really had love for you. Through adversity comes change. You got to go through it to get to it. And the only way you're going to find out is going through it. And like it says, it shows you who belongs in your life and who doesn't belong in your life. Like I tell you, your past is only a measuring stick for your future. Tells you what you want in life and what you don't want in life. And what you don't want in life, you build boundaries. And the people who love you will respect your boundaries, and the people who don't, that's the people you let go. Simple. It's sad, but it's true. Bad, but it's fair. And if you uh, are one that has a lot of love, it's going to hurt, but it must be done. And that's just the point blank simple. Why avoiding failure is a real failure. Check this out. The greatest tragedy is not failure. The greatest tragedy is life spent hiding from difficulty. So many people do that. People who avoid adversity never discover what they are capable of. See, like I tell you, through adversity come change. Adversity builds intestinal fortitude. It makes you understand how great you really are. You know, adversity shows you how great you really are. You just got to pay attention. And once you discover how great you really are, man, there's no turning back. They live in shrinking box of safety that gets smaller every year. They trade their potential for comfort. Like I tell you, a lot of us are comfortable with being uncomfortable and afraid to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. So you can be comfortable with being comfortable for the rest of your life. I didn't make it up. It's just how people are. They trade their potential for comfort, and that is the worst the bargain in existence. Adversities faced head on leads to a life of meaning. Avoiding it leads to a life of quiet regret. You do not need to seek suffering, but when it comes, it will be done. It will, it, let me stop for a second. But when it comes, and it will, do not run. It has come to teach you. Through your adversities come change. Your choices shape your adversities. Your adversities are your lessons to get you to your blessings. I tell you this, guys, all the time. And it's just what has to be done, to live a progressive and positive life. How to let adversity change you instead of break you. The difference between being broken and being shaped is your response. It's how you look at things. To let adversity change you for the better, you must feel it fully. Do not numb or avoid the emotion. Ask what it is trying to teach you. Refuse to become bitter. Bitterness is unprocessed pain. Turn turn it into empathy instead. Seeing what the other one feels. Take one small action each day towards recovery. Share your story when you are ready. That turns your wound into wisdom for others. Do these things, and adversity becomes alchemy. Like I always tell you, if you go through this process, you're going to be able to help others where they don't have to go down the same roads that we went down. And facing your fears is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. Trust me, when you can rely on you, knowing that you really don't have a whole bunch of people to rely on. And when you can rely on you and you get things done, that's the best thing in the world. Cause if you can rely on you, man, you don't need nobody else but God, and your few acquaintances or friends. 'Cause you can make it happen from there. It's just how life is. I ain't make the rules. Conclusion. Change only happens through adversity. Like I said, through adversity comes change. Look back at your own life. Every major breakthrough, every real change came after or during difficulty. Not before, not separately, through. The person you are becoming is being hammered out right now. Perhaps at this very moment, the fire feels hot because it is real. Do not waste it. Let it burn away what is false. Let it strengthen what is true. Adversity is not your enemy. It is the chisel carving a masterpiece you cannot yet see. Trust the process, walk through it. Change is happening. And on the other side, you will be free. And like I tell you guys, man, after going through all the things that I've gone through, uh, I understand. And the beautiful thing about it, I don't have any family left, but I'm good with God and my few friends. And I understand that everybody's not going to be in your life forever. And through adversity is going to show you who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. This is why adversity is so important. Just like, I would have thought with the things that, I was doing for my family that, I would still have one. But it doesn't matter what you do. If a person doesn't love and respect you, they're going to shit on you, period. Man, woman, friend, dog, cat, frog. It is what it is, and I've been crossed by everybody that's the closest you can imagine. And I still don't hold no grudges. I still forgive. I still keep a smile. And I keep trying to grow every day so I can be better. And it's only through my adversities that I'm going to make the change I need to make in my life so that I can get my life in order. And I love going through my struggles because it helps me to understand how really strong I am. All these things I go through alone. And I thank God for it. Well, I don't go through it alone because He's always there. But you understand what I'm saying? But He's building me to be something that He wants me to be. And it's only through my adversities that I can become what He wants me to be when I pay attention. Most of my life I didn't pay attention. Now I pay attention to life, and I try to give the gift of God, which is love, to everybody I come in contact with. You know, and if I don't deal with you, I just don't deal with you. But if I deal with you, I deal with you 100%. And that's just how life goes. I just want the best for each and every one of us. Even the people who wrong me, I want the best for them. I just don't want to deal with them myself. And that's cool, but I still want them to win. Never had a hating bone in my body, and I thank God for that. Never had a jealous bone in my body. Thank God for that. And I never have been a slime ball. And I truly thank God for that, you know. And it is what it is. Life goes on. But just know that, man, God got us. And if you do the right thing in your life, things will get better. It's 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 inevitable. Everything that he makes, he takes care of. You just have to understand that. Through adversity comes change. Can't get there unless you go through it, and that's just how it goes. But I'm finishing up. Once again, the book is Through Adversity Comes Change by me. It's on Amazon. It's Through Adversity Comes Change 2. with Kindle and check me out. I guarantee you it'll change your life. You know, I just want us all to win. Scotty, I'm out, baby boy. You have a blessed one. You hear? I'll give you a holler tomorrow. I'm going to therapy tomorrow. All right, baby boy. Be good. One love. All right, baby boy. One.